What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go battling content. Today's video, we got a veteran push by Pogo Dylan in the Great League. Fellow content creator, streams over on Twitch. You should give him a shout. Good dude. We got a feature with Furret. Furret recently getting Swift and Trailblaze added to its moveset. Already had Sucker Punch, which was already pretty good in the first place. But Furret's become a very good fringe to anti-meta Pokemon in the Great League, and I've actually been really rising on it lately myself, so I love to see that it's getting some good use. In the back, we're using Big Man Blastoise, the ultimate turtle safe swap in the Great League. And in the lead, we're going to be having a Galarian Weezing with Overheat. Normally you see them with Brutal Swing and Sludge, but Overheat is a really strong move to be able to hit those steel types that could pose a problem, as well as also being just completely unexpected because, as I said, most people are not running Overheat. They're running Brutal Swing and Sludge, so you get a lot of those Drapions by surprise. Let's take a look at Dylan piloting this team here in the Great League, getting to veteran and beyond in these games here. First game up, we're going to have a Shadow Jumpluff on the lead. Really nice lead. We do resist the Fairy Winds. Opponent's going to swap into a Malamar, and that's honestly fine here. Looks like Pogo Dylan's looking to go for a Sludge off the rip here before the opponent can throw energy, which really they're just going to save energy that they get here. So looks like Dylan's very happy to go down or up a shield here to be able to come in with the Furret. Even though the opponent does have super effective damage with the superpower, they're very unlikely to throw it first because they immediately debuff themselves. But now going for some extra energy on the Furret here, being able to get this Trailblaze in as well, which is going to be really helpful, as Trailblaze will give you a guaranteed attack bonus. Buff, attack buff, drop, buff, bonus. The word's in there somewhere. And then the opponent comes back in with a Jumpluff. Shields are evened out here, but this is a boosted Swift that's going to be looking to hit for some pretty nice neutral damage here. Getting this Jumpluff down to about half, and the opponent miscounting the Sucker Punches. Swift is going to fire off before the opponent can take care of this Furret. Feels bad. I do that to myself all the time. I hate it. Jumpluff now nearly depleted. The Energy Ball fires off and takes rid of the Furret, but here we just have Big Man Blastoise coming in against the Alolan that's a Kanto Marowak. Felrose, get it together, man. Bro, I'm sleepy, all right? Leave me be. Hydro Cannon is going to do a ton of damage here, super effective, into this Kanto Marowak, and it's going to be able to get to 2. The opponent, however, wins CMP. And unfortunately, Big Man Blastoise's attack stat is Little Man Blastoise status right now, as he's going to be looking to go second in the CMP tie after having a lower attack, which is what happens. If you get a CMP tie, the charge move tie, that's essentially just whose attack stat is higher. In this case, Blastoise is lower, but Blastoise is able to get a farm down and a parting gift to this Jumpluff in the form of a Sludge, and being able to take it out and take the first game. Well played. Second game coming in hot. We got Weezing on the lead versus a Malamar. Very interesting lead here because, well, the damage from these Psywaves adds up very quickly. Malamar's doing a lot of super effective damage here, but then again, so is the Weezing. But the Overheat is what they're not expecting, but the opponent shields it. How do you see that coming? Oh, they were expecting a Sludge, most likely. Unfortunate, but you do like to see the surprise factor. Now, the opponent comes in with a Credilli. That is a risk that you take here by safe swapping this Blastoise, but Blastoise is going to be able to connect with a Hydro Cannon, and it takes just about 2 to get a knockout. Opponent going for a charge move, but Dylan says, no, I'm keeping this Blastoise healthy enough to get to 2 more charge moves before your Credilli can get to another Rock Tomb. And I do believe Blastoise wins the CMP tie against against Credilli. Marowak's still on the brain. Now, in comes this Weezing to absorb this energy. The opponent throwing right away might be helpful, but this low HP stat is going to mean that it's going to get farmed down. But the opponent, instead of farming down with the Credilli, actually sends in the Malamar. And now Furret is very happily coming in here and just sucker punching his way to victory. And we're just, yeah, superpower gets thrown. Opponent now has a lowered attack stat, and they cannot swap out of this superpower debuff. Furret's going to be able to get to a move here. That's going to be pretty much it. But going for some extra energy before throwing, just in case that next Swift is needed to get a knockout onto whatever comes in after this switch. It's going to be that, going to be the Jumpluff in the back. That is rough, dude. That is rough. I don't think that you overcome a whole Jumpluff in the back. That is just unfortunate. Nah, I don't think so. Unless Blastoise can get to a Skull Bash, but with the amount of energy this Jumpluff has, I don't unfortunately think that the Blastoise is going to be doing much here. And I would have, the only thing I think you could have done there is maybe try to make a catch. But even then, they still have 2 aerial aces. Unfortunately, they are going to be able to take the knockout here with this aerial ace and call it quits on Big Man Blastoise. Very sad. Sad day in Blastoise history. But we'll come back in the next one for sure. Next game up, we got Weezing on the lead versus Pangoro, the dreamiest of dream leads. You just keep this alignment and you're set. Opponent's going to come in with a Grumpig, and Furret is really looking happy to come in here. However, it's really awkward, though, because we're chipping with the Sludge. Thankfully, the opponent does shield, so now if we have to give up a shield to win this matchup, it feels a little bit better. This is going to be a tricky one, because Grumpig has access to Dynamic Punch, and by now it will have 2. But after the amount of moves that have been done. There's the second one coming through. Do you shield it, or do you just go ahead and let one through? Dynamic Punch is not enough to knock out, but it's very close. But being able to get up to 2 Swifts here in this matchup is going to lock Dylan down for Switch if he wants it. Opponent going for that shield. Now we're going to go for the second Swift. This will do enough. Even though Grumpig's got some decent bulk to it, it's not going to be enough to take a Swift. And now the Pangoro comes in, gets almost no farm. We maintain alignment and keep Weezing on this Pangoro up his shield. The opponent gets Clodsired in the back by this Blastoise, and they are going to get a bad time. Good game. I forgot to cut out the queue times. Hopefully they're not too bad in the 2400s. In the series of games that he sent me, I picked out some of them because there were too many. But went from 2350, 2400, all the way up to 2600 with this team. So very strong team at the moment in the Great League. So even though I haven't personally used it, it does look like it might be able to do something here. I think that maybe throwing that overheat maybe was the play, but we'll let him cook. Because it's hard to say, man. That energy is going to be really helpful in dealing with Jumpluff later, but unfortunately now he's going to have to go down at least 1 shield, maybe even 2 here, depending on if he can live enough Bone Clubs to get to another move. But this Marowak will at least shield back once, which is nice. If not, maybe twice, because a Hydro Cannon would do a lot of damage. We didn't see how much it did earlier. Did about enough to get it down into the red, but the opponent sees the value in this Marowak, and they decide to put 2 shields into it to guarantee switch advantage. And the fact that they did this is going to be very difficult for Dylan because they have so much energy that it's going to be very hard to overcome, except when the opponent comes in with a Jumpluff, and now we're going for the overheat. I definitely think that just going straight Sludge here is the play, but opponent lives but goes for the charge move right away. Acrobatics is going to do a ton of damage. And now all of a sudden, maybe I'm looking like a fool because now Weezing could land an overheat if it wanted to, but Furret getting the energy here is going to be a nice play. Being able to save that Trailblaze in case the Marowak comes in, that should do a lot of damage. The opponent has a Lapras in the back. Now I have to see, is this Trailblaze going to do enough? Absolutely not. There's going to be a Trailblaze coming forth, though. This one should do nearly enough. It might leave it in the red, be very close. We'll have to see. Trailblaze knocks out the Lapras before it can get to a move. Now, can Furret get to a move against Marowak? No, he had the move, but he went down with it. Tragic, dude. We're looking for vengeance in the next game, and Bastiodon is there. Why are you here, you stupid wall face, man? As long as it's eligible, someone will run it. Blastoise could do very well here. Furret very neutral as well. Overheat's going to be some nice chip damage. We're safe switching into the Furret. This time, not safe switching into the Blastoise. Blastoise is technically the harder counter here. Bastiodon not going to do a ton of damage with the Stone Edge. And Furret's very happy to stay in and continue to farm up energy and go for Trailblaze here. If the opponent has something, 2 things in the back apparently, that do not like this Furret, but Furret's going to be able to ramp up its damage pretty nicely here. No throwing the move until the time is right. I love this timing by Dylan. He's looking to go ahead and maximize the amount of energy he can get in this matchup, knowing that these moves are not doing a lot. And already at nearly 2 Trailblazes, this is a very good position because the opponent now has to shield, and they're going to have to put down 2 shields to win this matchup. And are these Sucker Punches going to be enough? After the fact, they are double boosted, and we end up having a tie matchup there. Both Pokemon faint simultaneously, and now it's 2 Pokemon in the back versus the opponent. Seeing that they have the double ghost in the back, I bet you Now everything makes sense. So now they bring in the Sableye, but unfortunately for them, Sableye is without a shield, and all of this energy is resisted. I would love to see Dylan go for a nice over farm here, just trying to be able to make sure we throw before the opponent can get to the move. Very, very nice 4, and then the move knowing that that Foul Claw is 5. Very nice counting here. Overheat is going to knock the attack stat down, but at this point, you're just looking to get any chip damage you can. The opponent comes in with that Corsola, and Blastoise is loaded on energy and is going to have so many Hydro Cannons. You're not going to know what to do with them. Oh my goodness. Look at all this energy. Blastoise's energy, you could power a whole water farm with this energy. Opponent not going to be able to get to the move yet, though. They are going to go for another Astonish here. Blastoise unloading these Hydro Cannons. Can the rollouts get the farm down? No, but hopefully this is Blastoise. This is pretty bulky. There's no way it's enough. Power Gem not going to even be close to be enough, and we're going to be able to take it out. Good game. Mandibuzz coming in, granting Christmas miracles. This is a lead, and you love to see it. Now, going for the Sludge on 7, that's perfect timing into a 3-turn move like Snarl if you are the 2-turn move user like Fairy Wind. Timing is a very important aspect on improving the game, and I would say that typing interactions and knowing some common move counts are probably the best 3 ways to be able to get yourself up to the next level if you're struggling around the Ace Veteran Elo range. Those are the things that I would start with before we get into anything else. But all this energy and this Weezing is more than happy to just take it all as they can over farm here, get to another Sludge just about before throwing. Now, the opponent is getting to a move here before the Sludge gets thrown, but Dylan looks like he's very happy to just let this go. The opponent going for extra energy if they can, but Dylan is really the one looking to farm here, knowing that they need 3, making a very risky play to double up on moves, and just says, you know what? I'm going to throw this move. Was that an Alolan Ninetales? Oh, it was. Oh, it was. Oh, my heart. That's a Wigglytuff. Oh, get this thing away from me. Oh, we should have gone for... I would have gone for Skull Bash just because. But 3 Hydro Cannons should do enough damage here, so this is a very fine play. But coming in with the Furret here, I think, is even better because you're not going to be able to get much use out of the Furret other than in this matchup. So even though there's really nowhere for Furret to go so far, at least in a good alignment ways, we're able to take the Trailblaze down. Opponent now gets to a move. Furret says, I don't need to shield. I have a Blastoise in the back, and Blastoise will easily be able to make very quick work of this Ninetales. Rollouts being super effective, and Hydro Cannons hitting like a truck. Opponent has only 1 shield remaining. Blastoise should be able to get to 2 moves here, or even roll out down like a champion. And oh my goodness, is that what we're doing? The fast move farm down? No, but thankfully Blastoise lives this next charm, meaning it can lock in 2 Hydro Cannons, and whether you got to 2 Hydro Cannons or got the farm down, you were going for it either way, Dylan. Good game, well played. Drink water, it's good for you, by the way. All right, next game, we got Weezing into Dugong. Very neutral, but Dugong does have that drill run to be able to put some pressure in here. I would expect to see Weezing go for the overheat, potentially dip. Oh, we're going for a bait. That is nasty work. Maybe calling that they're not going to go for the Icy Wind. The opponent not going to bother shielding here. Furret comes in after the opponent goes for their move here, and this should be a drill run if they were going for it. They go for the Icy Wind bait as they would expect, but unfortunately the opponent does not appear to have an answer to a Furret safe switch. They come in with Sableye, and that is not at all an answer to this little menacing Ferret here, as it's looking to go for as many sucker punches as it takes to put Sableye back in its grave, the ghost type. Taking almost no damage from this thing, but no, it looks like Furret is fine to let this go. We're going to let Weezing come back in and control. Now, it's going to come down to what's in the back. If they have an answer to Blastoise, this could be risky and a bit of an issue, but I think that Blastoise is about to go off, but it looks like we are going to save a shield here to be able to get the energy saved on this Weezing. Even though the damage was resisted, you don't want to take it necessarily, but now we can come in with Blastoise, get that farm down. Opponent, they're going to go for the Icy Wind? Okay, sure. We'll take a gigantic rollout farm down as they're going to go for the resisted energy. Blastoise is unfortunately down to shield, but hopefully all this energy is going to be able to make good, go to good work here. Opponent could come in with the Sableye, though, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to go ahead and just absorb this energy. And undercharge here would be sick. Man, he's on the same wavelength today, man. Unfortunately, that's not going to do it, but can go for the Skull Bash. No, we're going for the bait. Hydro Cannon might get a shield here. You're going to have to hope it does, because you don't have a whole lot else left in the tank for this team to be able to handle this Golisopod. Golisopod very spammy, and honestly, they know they don't need to shield this. It's definitely not a Skull Bash. Going for as much chip damage as possible, but the opponent locks in the move before the Blastoise can get to the charge move. Xehr will get a knockout here, and Weezing just needs to get to 2 Sludges. Can it get there? Yes, it can. The opponent did not lock in a charge move, and that means that Weezing is going to be able to go back-to-back Sludges, and this is more than enough damage. The opponent going for the CMP tie, but these shields are finally going to get put to use here as Weezing looks to unleash this game-winning Sludge on the opponent's Golisopod. That's going to take care of this game. Well played.
Boom!
Next game up, we're going to have Weezing on the lead here versus a Feraligatr. Good lead here for the Weezing because of that Sludge pacing, but going straight into the Furret, saying, you know what? Throw a Hydro Cannon at me, buddy. See what happens. These Shadow Claws do almost nothing, so Furret is going to respect this Hydro Cannon damage, and the opponent comes in with the Corviknight. Oh, that's painful. Going for the Trailblaze, though, at least to give the Sucker Punches a little bit more oomph, trying to increase that damage. Now, the opponent has a really solid response here to pretty much the entire 2/3 of the team that they've seen so far. So Corviknight looking like a pretty strong pick so far, but those Sucker Punches are adding up, and the opponent, I've used Corviknight plenty of times. I can tell you this is not going to come close to knocking out Furret, and those sand attacks are not going to cut it when it comes to trying to get that farm down. We are going to see Furret go for another Swift. The opponent's going to be forced to shield if they want Switch, and I don't think that Corviknight can win this farm down race. Is Furret going to let it go? Yeah, Furret's going to let it go. It knows it doesn't need to, but now this is a nice farm down for this Weezing. The opponent having just thrown energy, but wait! Disaster strikes, and they go for a move, but Dylan says, nah, I don't need to worry about this. This ain't nothing. Opponent gonna go down here. Corviknight is gonna get taken out, but in comes the Feraligatr, and we still don't know what's the third Pokemon here, but we're gonna find out pretty shortly. This Sludge is gonna do a lot of damage to Feraligatr. Opponent looking to go for a last-minute Hydro Cannon here. They never run Crunch, let's be honest. Hydro Cannon's gonna be resisted, and in comes Pangoro. Oh, that's just an Ice Slash, though. You can always let this go and unleash 2 moves. You could even look to go for a Skull Bash plus a Hydro Cannon if you really wanted to, if you're nasty. But looks like the Blastoise will lock in 2 charge moves here and be able to take the shield. And then, honestly, Weezing is going to have some energy, I believe. But even if it doesn't, it can simply just go for this farm down. Going to force the opponent. No, they're getting the farm down. Now, Sludge is reached, but didn't click the move, man. You better hope this doesn't get to a move. You better hope they're one off the move, and they were. Oh my goodness, I would have been terrified for my life. I know they would have been at 2 moves if it was me, so good game. Well played. Homie's getting a 4-1 to finish this set. We're catching the Mindfu. It's a veteran push, 2507 elo to hit veteran. Welcome to the veteran ranks, Pogo Dylan. Congratulations. I know it's still kind of early in the season, and we congratulate those who are able to get to veteran, ace, all of it, man. It's all important. Every milestone matters. Lapras in this next game, though, they're going for a little bit beyond the veteran push. Furret's going to come in and look to try to force the opponent's energy here and then see if he can get whatever's in the back to come out. Hopefully, it is an answer to Blastoise. Drapion comes in. That's on Ice Fang, though. Ice Fang Drapion's kind of spicy. It really is able to fight back against some of those Pokemon that it otherwise has an issue with. And honestly, the pacing isn't so terrible that you couldn't do it. It's just not as fast as Poison Sting. However, Ice Fang is a pretty good anti-meta pick, able to sort of handle things that the Poison Sting just doesn't cut. Now, the opponent not going to be able to get switch advantage here, even though we're down a shield. Going to be able to go for a Swift into this Lapras, and this will do some decent chunk damage and allow Blastoise to come in, absorb energy, and even get some good damage in with these rollouts. Blastoise is very happy to come in on this matchup, as a Skull Bash would do tons of damage to this Lapras. The opponent looking to fire off a charge move first, and Dylan's going to put this last shield up, respecting the Skull Bash that is coming, and now it's going to come down to how much damage the Skull Bash from the Blastoise does. This is like reading a Dr. Seuss book sometimes, dude, I'm telling you. The opponent comes in with Clodsire, and they're in shambles. They should have stayed. Oh, they stored a move out on the Lapras, but now Weezing really doesn't have anywhere it can go in this team, but Blastoise is going to go for the move on alignment here because it wants to be able to get that move off before the opponent can try to get theirs in. Blastoise taking about half of the HP off of this Clodsire, but unfortunately, the opponent needs to go for the Earthquake, and is it going to be enough? Big man Blastoise on some steroids today, going for the Hydro Cannon, that Skull Bash boost, paying off here in this game. Hydro Cannon will knit the knockout, and the opponent cannot get to enough energy for multiple moves to take out the Weezing, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. More queue times, let's go. All right, final game incoming here. Weezing is going to be sitting here pretty on the lead against who knows what, but we're going to find out right now. Weezing's going to be up against a Steelix. This is nice because we have the overheat to hit this thing, and not many of these trainers are expecting it. Opponent, however, is going to go immediately for the Psychic Fangs to look and get that super effective damage in, and a debuff. Even though it's not a ton of damage, it will add up and allow the Steelix to do a lot of extra Thunder Fang damage, and I'm telling you, man, Weezing ain't that big, but we hit it off and in. Oh, boom! The opponent, completely taken aback by the overheat, makes a panic swap into this Golisopod, and trainers, that is not an answer to Furret. Normal typing walls the Shadow Claw damage, dropping it down to just about effectively 1, and Furret can go for as much fast move damage as it can muster here, being able to hit hard with those neutral sucker punches, getting plenty of HP coming out of this matchup. That shield is hopefully worth it. Opponent cannot come back in with the Steelix. They're forced to come in with their third, which is going to be the Annihilate, and Weezing is so happy to see this. However, this farm down is not going to be... We baited with a Swift, and I know they had to shield a Trailblaze, but that is brutal, and they no-shield the actual Trailblaze, bro. I would have top left it even faster. I'm in shambles just watching the opponent get shafted on their shield calls like that. But man, Pogo Dylan nailing this team. Very strong. I like this team a lot. Makes a ton of sense. Might even give it a try myself, to be honest. It looks like a lot of fun. But yeah, let me know in the comments which member of this team is your favorite. I'm certainly between the Furret and the Blastoise myself. They're both incredibly good Pokemon now in the Great League and Might and Mastery season. But that's going to do it for me for today's video, guys. As always, thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.